All right, we're back. So in the last video, we analyzed the figured bass, and then what I went ahead and did is I added in these chords. So what I really want to focus in on this video is adding non-chord tones so that it doesn't sound just like chords, but we then to start making musical lines so it feels more musical. So before we start putting in the non-chord tones, let's listen to what we have already. All right. Okay, and that's fine. And so let's make it better. So the first thing I want to do is let's focus in on the beginning here. Let's make it a little bigger. And what I want to do is, in this first measure I see in the alto voice, there are two A's that are in the same voice. So what I can do is we can then, set layer 2, we can, there we go. We can put a neighbor tone. Neighbor tone is unaccented, approached by step, resolved by step. See what that sounds like? Yeah, so all of a sudden now we have some motion here. Okay, now if I look at the second measure, I can do the same thing in soprano voice. I can add this D, C, B, this falling line. So which is kind of cool because then I have this falling line from F, E, D, C, B flat, A, and it's kind of cool. All right, next thing, what I want to do is I want to fix a problem. There are a couple problems in here, and I left them intentionally to show that I could get around them by adding non-chord tones to get away from some of the kind of technical things we shouldn't do in class. So in this measure 3 and 4, you can see that there's a C sharp here, that the bass A and the tenor C sharp are both below this bass tenor D. So generally what we would do is we try to write this C sharp instead of the C sharp. We'd be a little higher, maybe the E, so it can fall down. But in this case, what I thought would be best is to actually show how these non-chord tones can also get us out of trouble. So I'm going to draw these notes in so it gives it this linear movement above. Okay, let's listen to that from the top. I like that. So now it feels like, there's some movement. There's actually some kind of melodic line. We have this descending stepwise motion. So now we have this ascending stepwise motion, which still feels motivic to me. Okay, and then here on measure 4, we can actually create some more of this up and down. So instead of this D, I can perhaps move it up to an E so that we have this stepwise motion, and then it will resolve down to the D. So this non-chord tone is like an appoggiatura or an accented passing tone. Whatever it is, it's a non-chord tone that's accented on the beat. And there we go. Okay, and then after this, then we have our 5, 6, 5, and then into this measure 5 here, where there's a whole lot of just kind of rest. So maybe the easiest thing to do would be to add some motion. We could do this, but I want to play with this. So I'm thinking, okay, in the soprano, I can go lower neighbor again. Let's see what that sounds like. Let's go measure 4. Yeah, that's good. Let's add some more motion. So in the alto voice, F can go down to a D here. And I'm seeing now that on the second beat here, I can use stepwise motion to move it up. So I'm going to go like that. So now we have this kind of up and down here in 5 and 6. No, I like that. Okay, moving on. Measure 6. What we have is, well, so far we've done neighbor tones and passing tones. Let me double check this. We have a neighbor tone, passing tone, This is a passing tone. That's a chord tone. Passing tone, we have an appoggiatura or accented passing tone. And neighbor, passing tone. Okay, so the one we haven't done yet is an escape tone. So let's do that right here in the soprano voice. Okay, so we're going down, B, D, F. And this B flat to C isn't a problem because this is not a leading tone. Whereas here, we'll get to this in a second, this is another problem I left. This B flat to the C sharp is an augmented second, is lay to T. So this is a problem. We don't want to leave that there. We'll get there in 1 second. But here, what we could do, just for fun, is we could actually move this up to a D, and we get this really interesting, more falling line again. So even though this was correct, but this feels more motivic to me, again, because now we've got this descending line that continues on. So I'm going to try that. And then, yeah, let's fix this now. So what I'm looking at here is this B flat going to a C sharp is an augmented second. And you all know that if you sing harmonic minor that you get this lay to T thing, which is awkward to sing. And that's why you have melodic minor to avoid that. But in our writing, we can avoid it by just putting in layer 1, B, and then a D. So this kind of, it's almost like a cambiato where you're going below and above, so that we don't have this B flat to C sharp anymore. It's actually resolving down by step. We're approaching this leading tone from above. So I like that. That's really nice. And then, let me see, is there anything else we can do here? We could double this, but it would be kind of fun to also have this D go up to a G. So we have this kind of arpeggio. So these are not non-chord tones. These are arpeggios. And these arpeggios, give motion too. So that's also on the table now for you guys to play with. Okay, I'm looking at measure 8. And what we can do is we can have some more of this motion. I like this coming down. So what I want to do is have this A leap up to, what chord is this? This is a B, D, F. I can double this D. Instead of the B flat, we can go up to, I'm in the wrong voice. We can go up to a D. But then now, see, we have this descending line again. So it's also motivic one more time. So that could work really well. And what else can we do? To put more stepwise motion in, to finish this idea, there we go. So now we have this stepwise motion that's all going down. It's very motivic, just like the beginning. Okay, so therefore, all the examples that we have are either the first 4 that we studied, the first 4 non-chord tones that we have. Let me make this smaller so we can see it. So we have neighbor tone, passing tone, 2 passing tones, like an appoggiatura, neighbor tone, escape tone. These are arpeggiations, and this is a passing tone. So let's listen to what we have so far. The last 2 non-chord tones I want to do after this is suspension and anticipation. But before we do that, let's listen. Yeah. B, D, F. This is fine. But what could be better is if we actually put in an appoggiatura here. And we'll give it a little bit more spice. And we still have the descending line. Okay, good. All right, last two chords I want to go over. So, sorry, excuse me, the last two non-chord tones I want to go over. So suspension and anticipation. So let's do anticipation first. Anticipation is usually it's something that happens just before the chord. It anticipates the chord. And generally you'll see anticipations out of cadence. So here at the end, what we can do is in our alto voice, we can have this descend to the D before it happens, and there's our anticipation. Okay, last one, suspension. So what we can do is, I was originally planning on, oops, let's undo that, voice 1. What I was thinking is I can have a neighbor tone suspend into this note. So what we generally have is, as a suspension, is a 3-part process. Preparation or prep, into suspend, and then resolve. And it'll resolve into the chord tone. So what we can do is we can have this prepared E bleed or suspend into the downbeat here. And that'll be our suspension. And then it will resolve down into this D. Let's do that. So what we'll do is we'll put that there, and then I'll tie it so it suspends. So even though it's not a chord tone from here, it's still a note like a neighbor tone that will suspend in and then resolve down. Okay, let's listen to that. We'll just start at measure 8 so we can hear it all with this section here. Yeah, that's good. We can even push this further back. So what we could do is turn this into an 8th note and then make this a dotted so that, yeah, let's try that now. See if it gives it more of that motion. Yeah. Okay, so let's listen to the whole thing here one more time. There we go. And from the top. Yeah. Okay, there you go.